Okay, everyone, this is Kim Jacobs from The Kim Jacobs Show, and I want you to hurry up and grab your virtual seats. I'm doing a special episode, breaking news episode, because there's so much going on right now in the DC area that we thought it would be beneficial for you all to get a chance to hear firsthand from some people that have quite a bit to say. So tag your friends and tag everyone and invite them to The Kim Jacobs Show, okay? Sean, you take it away and let's talk to our guest today. I want each of you, before Sean says anything, I'd like for each of you to introduce yourself so those that are tuning in get an opportunity to know who's here. Sean Braxton, activist, talk to us and tell us who you are and what's bringing you here tonight.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate it, Kim. I'm Sean Braxton. I'm based here in Peachtree City, Georgia, a little bit south of Atlanta. I am just here because of the fact that we are facing so many monumental things in the last 12 months. But today was an inflection point. I think that the nation needs to understand really how we look at it as Black people and what we're dealing with internally as these situations continue to transpire in our lives. So just happy to be here. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you so much for being with us tonight. And Joseph Wooten, if you could unmute your mic and tell us a little bit about yourself. I know you're the Hands of Soul, and I know you from a musical perspective, but tonight you're serving as an activist. Tell us about yourself.
Well, I play keyboards and I sing with the Steve Miller Band. I'm also one of the Wooten brothers from Nashville, Tennessee. And I just try to use my music to change things for the better. To try to educate people. There are things that you can say with music that make it easier to accept than when you just say them. So I'm just trying to use music to make things better, trying to stay aware and trying to help other people stay aware also.
Okay, welcome tonight. And Sean, many of you already know that Sean Hall is the Kim Jacobs Show political expert and educational expert. And so Sean, tell everyone that may be joining that don't know you who you are as well.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Sean Hall. I am the owner of All Roads Education. I am an independent college expert, if you will. My specialty is college admissions and scholarships, but I also went to school for politics. So I'm a political science major. And on every Friday with Freestyle Friday, we talk about education and politics, and I'm your resident expert of sorts.
Excellent. Welcome. And thank you all for being here on this evening. And as they've already said, it's so much happening. So we thought instead of waiting until 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, which is my normal show time, the same panel that's here tonight will be back tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. So we're going to really deep dive more tomorrow, and we'll have even more based on all of the events that's happening to talk about in more detail. So gather your friends, your family, co-workers, tell everybody we'll be back here at the regular scheduled time at 11 o'clock a.m. with the breaking news that we're talking about tonight in more detail on tomorrow. Okay, so who wants to talk first? Sean, Joseph, Sean, the Sean, whichever one. And we've already established the Sean is because she says she want to be the Sean, even though some of y'all know it the same way. So whichever one wants to talk. So thank you, Lotus Rashay. Lotus Rashay just said that she said that, hey, Kim, I gave a shout out to you on my live broadcast. Thanks for what you're doing, Kim. You rock, Lotus, and you do a great job with everything that you do to keep the news fresh. Okay, so Sean or Joseph, whoever wants to go first.
All right, I guess I'll jump in.
Go ahead, Joseph.
Okay, today was a vivid display that is easier for this country to say that all men and women are created equal than it is to see that all men and women are created equal. And what we've been witnessing is an attempted pullback from the forward moving of culture, especially culture of people of color. And today was just a condensation of what's been wrong for so long. Fortunately or unfortunately, it sort of takes people of color understanding what we're going through and articulating it to people that aren't of color for us to move forward. It's similar to a woman who gets assaulted. It's unfortunate that she's the only one that can educate other people that haven't been. It's unfortunate, but that's the case. It's unfortunate that the people that have been the most abused in this country are the ones that have to teach the abusers how not to do it.
Wow.
And today was heavy because of that. It's just hard to watch.
It's very hard to watch.
It's just hard to watch. It's the best of times and the worst of times colliding with each other. And it's what we're seeing in real time. We're seeing the worst of times bring out the best in us. Some, because we watch, like, right now, the politicians are sort of coming around, right? After they had to run for their lives, now they're coming around. People that were protesting the election before are now trying to certify the election quickly. And it's unfortunate that we have to go through that. It's unfortunate that things have to get violent before we get sane. But so often you hear people say, well, violence doesn't get you anywhere. Violence doesn't get you anywhere. When every time people of color move forward, there's violence. Right? Like every time we move forward, there's violence. And truthfully, everything that this country has gotten is gotten with violence.
Right.
It's just frowned upon when violence is connected with us.
Wow. That's already a profound opening. And Sean Braxton.
Yeah, I mean, Joseph, you hit the nail on the head. I think one of the things that we've seen, and I've talked about in a lot of my summits and things that I've done here locally, is that the DNA, the very fabric of this nation was built around violence. And unfortunately, we've marched, we've had water hoses turned on us, we've had dogs turned on us, we've been rocked, we've been shot, we've been blown up. All these things have happened over the years. But the more nonviolent we are, it seems like things just progress incrementally. But then you see what happened last year when cities began to burn down, when buildings were burned and looted. Unfortunately, I'm not going to support that, right?
Me either.
But the reality is, it woke America up, right? All of a sudden, you've got hundreds of millions of dollars being funneled into United Negro College Fund. You've got it being sent to other organizations that are assisting those that have been disenfranchised. So all of a sudden now corporate America is waking up. You've got people in the political realm that had been very silent about things. All of a sudden now they're vocal. Even a Mitt Romney of all people, right? I mean, I never thought that I would be listening to Mitt Romney of all people, but with the voice of reason in our Senate. So when I take a look at all those things that have transpired over the course of the last year, I was telling a friend of mine, I can't remember a year where I've been this sad and this frustrated and this disgruntled and down, and it was a daily thing, and it never seemed to end. And then, we put together a grassroots effort here in my county, Fayette County, Georgia, which is a predominantly red county. And we had a 36% uptick in the Democratic vote, right? So we saw things happen here in this town that we had never seen before. And then to see the state turn blue, not only from a presidential perspective, but also looking at the local runoff election. So yesterday I worked the poll, right? So I was a poll worker, and I saw the angry people coming in on just one by one. And I could tell you who was voting for whom just by their expression. We had people asking, "Oh, this is a Dominion machine?" And I was like, "Yes, it is." And then I make them confirm, have to confirm their information and sign. Does everyone have to do this? I mean, it was just such anger throughout the course of the day. For 12 hours, we put up with this for 12 hours, watching people just be angry.
Right.
Wow. So this morning, when I woke up, I actually woke up at 2 o'clock because I fell asleep. I was tired, so I was waiting for the results. Woke up about 2 a.m., saw a post, and so, man, let me turn on the TV and see what happened. Hey, Reverend Warnock won, so they had projected him to win. And then now you're seeing that the vote will turn toward Ossoff as well. So all these things were transpiring. So I'm happy again, right? I'm excited. Yeah. I'm like, man, all the work is paying off. Everybody came together. We did the right thing, and everything's great. Then all of a sudden, the 2 o'clock time frame rolls in. I just on a conference call. I come in, and my wife was like, "Look at what's going on." And all of a sudden, the elation went to deflation once again, because this is what bothered me. And I said this to another friend of mine.
I bet I know what you're going to say.
This bothered me more than anything. And I think it bothered me and I said this, I don't know if I said it the right way, but it bothered me more than all of the blacks that have been killed, that unarmed blacks that have been killed all together, because white men and women can bombard our U.S. Capitol and not even be arrested, not necessarily shot, but not even arrested.
Right.
That just tore me apart, because as the father of 7 black people, right? I can't say children anymore. They're 33 all the way down to 15. As a father of 7 black youth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Four women, three men. What do I tell my kids their worth is?
Wow.
Right.
That frustrated me, and I was trying to convey that to my wife, and I was like, how do I tell my kids that doing the right thing matters anymore?
Right.
Right.
This nation shows us time and again that we don't matter.
Wow. Well, what I want to do is I want to take, I'm grateful for your comments that you've already shared. And Sean, I want to give you a chance to say something as well. And then once you say something, I'm going to go to some of these audience comments, because so many comments are pouring in, and I want to make sure you guys get a chance to address some of them. Go ahead, Sean.
So I will start with this. When we talk about the corporations who got on board with Black Lives Matter, don't be fooled. Don't be deceived. It was about money. Nobody wants to think it was about a money grab. You want to think that these companies were doing the right thing. And perhaps in some of the rooms, they will be doing the right thing. Sometimes it takes situations like this, somebody losing their life. But I want to be clear. The Black population, some people say African-American, I still say Black, so have at it. We spend over $1 trillion. That's our discretionary spending annually, over $1 trillion. So don't be fooled and think that they did this from an altruistic perspective. It was about money. It was about making sure that you still spend your money with Pepsi, that you still spend your money with Quick Trip or Krispy Kreme or all of the other corporations that got behind you. And they said, hey, for $250,000 or for a $1 million deposit, I've still got you in my back pocket. So I'm not impressed by what they did then. I want to know, how have their boards changed? What's the diversity look like there with the franchisees, there in your boardrooms, there with your management? The other thing, when I saw today, I didn't feel dismayed. Not at all. I didn't feel like, oh my gosh, the world is coming to an end, because here is the truth. I listened to a preacher a long time ago say a phrase that has stuck with me. It was organize or agonize. Organize or agonize. We look at Stacey Abrams losing the seat for the governorship a couple of years ago in Georgia. She could have been bitter, but she did not do that. She decided to organize even more. Very few of us know that she was already in the state house in Georgia. We thought that she was coming out of nowhere, but that's not true. And so what she did was organize methodically in the state of Georgia. And if not for her efforts and the Black women who supported her, I'm going to lay it out there, then we would not have had the push for Warnock and Ossoff to get in office. And let's go back for Biden and Harris, because the truth of it is, Black people always show up. If we had not had Jen Clyburn put Joseph Biden on life support and said, listen, South Carolina, come out. Because if you all go back in history, Joe Biden was out. He was at 1-2. They were counting on 3. And Clyburn had to step up and say, look ahead, y'all. Come on and get this man up in here. This is our best opportunity. And thank God he did that, because South Carolina galvanized, they delivered, and we all looked up and said, wait a minute, we're still breathing. And so that's my message tonight. We're still breathing. What happened tonight on the Capitol, Black people, that's not on us. That's not our fight. Fall back and let the chips fall where they may, because what we need to see, I have many friends, Black, white, Puerto Rican, Haitian, who are talking a lot of stuff about, was this election rigged or not? It couldn't have been rigged, and we left Mitch McConnell in office.
That's right. That's right.
That's number one.
We'd have got rid of him first.
He would have been the first one. Number two, the same way you were talking about how you needed to inspect, you're the same people posting today, pray. What are we praying for? Who are you praying to? Because the Bible says that if my people who are called by my name, so let's just stop there. There's so many people in Christendom, I'm not sure who you are, where you're showing up, because you pick the time when to show up, when to have a voice. And when we see these objectors who are Republicans, we'll see if they come forth tonight when it gets to Georgia. We'll see what they do, because they are responsible in what this is and what's happening as well. So I'll just stop there. And
Wow.
Kim, let's get some people on here.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So this has been quite an overwhelming day, in my opinion, because it's disheartening to see the disunity, the everything that's happening in our land, and it's very disturbing as well. I can't. It makes me sick to my stomach. Is the best wording I could think to say about it, because at the same time that a victory is happening, then at the same time you have this situation unfolding that's causing so much dissension. And obviously, whenever there is internal strife, that's when external invasion can come in. And so it's like we are all one America here, and it would be ideal for us to be on the same page so that we're not invaded from external sources, because the great division that lies within. This is just Kim Jacobs personally, not the show or anything. And again, the views expressed are the views of each individual person, not the show itself. But I would love to see how we could get united as a people, meaning all of us as a race of different races and different nationalities coming together to support and love each other as we would want to be loved ourselves. So that's my personal take on it. And even another thought was that the fact that I don't think I've ever encountered a president of the United States having, I see backstage here, thank you, Shannon and Rachel and you all for helping me, but to see that a Twitter account of our president gets on lockdown, this is only coming from Twitter themselves, saying that it's been on lockdown for 24 hours.
That's going to be for 24 hours.
Huh?
It's going to be on lockdown for 24 hours.
It's going to be on lockdown for 24 hours?
They're taking him off.
Wow. Yeah. They're taking him off?
They should. This is
overdue. Should have done it a long time ago.
Overdue.
Wow. So, I mean, this has been, our leader for years here. So to have this happening, it's like, I just would prefer not to see any of our leaders just go down like that. So let's take some of our studio audience questions. I'm going to put the panel in this view so that everyone gets a chance to answer the questions that want to. And I'm not going to discriminate and not put some of the comments up that's opposite of what the panel that's represented here. So Country Swag actually says Biden sucks. In his or her opinion, Biden sucks. And they want that comment.
No more than the current president, because here's the funny thing about it. Biden has been in office, yes, as a senator, what do we say, 40 years or something, 40 some odd years. And yet, for a person to not have taken office, he is more presidential than the person currently sitting in the office who's been there for the past 4 years. So if Biden sucks, I can only imagine what in the world we must think of the person who has been sworn to take an oath to defend the Constitution of this country. And I think the problem with many of us is that we don't read. You have no clue what the Constitution even says.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Country Swag, I see all of your comments, and there are quite a few. Some have some cuss words in them. I'm definitely not putting those up. But what I will say is that you are a supporter of Trump, and you said Trump 2020 is
it's
what
over.
you believe
that was
as
the
well.
last year.
Let's go. 2020 is already gone. So
Never happen.
And then
you're already late.
But then, in all fairness, this person, Country Swag, said, "Hey, Black Lives Matter to them."
We know that Black Lives Matter sucks to so many people, because that's the level of disdain that people have for Black people in this country. But if we're going to go ahead and keep it all the way real, we built this joint. Without us, this country would not stand, because our labor made it possible for everyone else to come here and enjoy the spoils. So while you're hating on the Black Lives Matter movement, it does not matter, because we're still moving on. You couldn't kill us off. You could not gas us enough. You could not beat us enough, because no matter what, we still rise.
Add to that. So Sean, you made a great point right there, because that's precisely what's going on right now, is that there's a fear that because that privilege is about to be dismantled, they're not going to be able to do the things that they used to be able to do the way they used to be able to do them whenever they wanted to do them. And they're seeing now that, guess what? There's Black people, there's Latino people, there's LGBTQ people, there's every realm of people coming together as one to dismantle the white supremacy that this nation was built upon. And that's what now we're seeing. So I started these racial summits, this racial understanding summit on racial understanding last spring, to have a dialogue and a conversation And the reason why I did that is because people were saying, well, you're spewing hate on social media. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm giving you facts that weren't taught in our school systems, but now you're considering it hate because it goes against your privilege.
Sean, I want to offer this. I said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I wanted to offer this as a little history lesson. Today should have been reminiscent of the Boston Tea Party, where you had people who were so enamored with America and did not want to have to continue to pay the king. They destroyed property. So listen, everyone who's so upset about what happened in Ferguson and what happened in all of these other places like Atlanta, and you say, oh my God, they're destroying property and buildings. They learned it from the best.
It's how the nation was born. The nation was born and built upon exactly what you saw today, right?
Exactly that.
But the premise was a little bit better back then because they were trying to get away from tyranny, right?
Correct.
They were moving away from that. They were moving away from taxation without representation. They were trying to move away from that. But the more we built it in this nation, we built it upon the blood and the backs of Blacks and Native Americans and others in this nation. And they're seeing that slip away. And that's what we're seeing in terms of what happened today. Like I said, yesterday at the polls, never saw so many angry people coming to vote in my life because they're thinking, why do I have to come and vote again? Right? It should have, it was rigged in the first place. You know what? Go home. You don't have to come. You just stay home. Do us all a favor so that the margin can be even bigger. Right? But going back to what you said, Sean, about Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams is the epitome of what this nation really is about coming back, and instead of getting bitter, she was better. She said, you know what? We're going to pull everything together. Everything that they did to me, I'm going to flip it 180, and I'm going to do it the right way. I'm going to galvanize every little tiny little small town in Georgia, as well as the big metropolitan areas, and ensured that everybody got out to vote. Look, she even came out to our little town. In our little area, 37,000 people came out and made sure that everybody was a part of it. And it wasn't just about the big towns anymore. And I think that's what most politicians used to focus on is the big towns. And the small towns are far away they may. But guess what? If you go and look at the map, it's a lot of red, but that red is a lot of small towns. She ensured that everybody was brought into this process, and that if everybody voted, we would win. And that's what we're seeing now. And that's where everybody's so upset and so frustrated and mad, and they don't know what to do. It's like, it's kind of like Mike Tyson used to say, everybody's got a plan until you get hit in the mouth. My grandfather taught me a long time ago, the way you beat a bully is you hit him in the nose first.
That's it.
Wow.
Now, depending on how big the bully is, you hit him in the nose and you might have to run, but get a lick in first, right? But we got a lick in and we kept hitting. And I think that's where we are now.
That's it.
There's two things that I would say. One is that white people love Black culture more than they love Black people, right? Yeah. But they love Blackness, whether they profess it or not. The second thing,
all the time.
The second thing is there's 6.5 billion people in the world, and you here with us, so you getting something. You here for something.
Yeah.
And you don't love us enough to be somewhere else. I mean, you don't hate us enough to be somewhere else. So rather than like talking all the negativity, just go ahead and learn something from something that you already put yourself in. You here with us.
Yeah.
Right? There's 6.5 billion people in the world. You could be somewhere else, but you're not. You came here.
Right. And I will say this on top of that, Joseph, going back to country swag, and everyone's entitled to their opinion, when you say Black lives don't matter, if Black lives didn't matter,
you wouldn't be here.
The establishment, the GOP, wouldn't have done everything they could do for all of these years since we've been on these shores to disenfranchise us. Right. Because what they've always known is this one thing, that Black people will come together, that you can only oppress people for so long before they rise up. And it's time. It's time for Black, for brown, white people included to come together. Right. But here's the thing. Everybody wants to preach unity, unity, unity. There can't be unity until there is an admission of what happened in this country. Yeah. And what happened was slavery. It was legal in the eyes of the law, but
for 2.5 centuries.
It was wrong. And we still have yet to admit it. We still have yet to admit that people have profited off of it. It doesn't have to be you that were personally involved in slavery. If your great, 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 great owned any kind of insurance company in which they insured the property, which is also known as Black Africans, you're involved in slavery.
Wow.
And that has continued on in this country. And to just dismiss it like this and say, well, I support Black Lives Matter and it's all over. It's not over. Black people still have PTSD from slavery.
Yeah. Very good point, Sean.
PTSD from today.
Yeah, today. Yeah, PTSD. What happened right here today?
That's right. Today, yesterday. Yeah.
And Andrew Roberts said, thank you for this very timely discussion. And just so you all know that are watching right now, we're going to continue this discussion tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So get your comments. You can flood us with the comments. You can put your comments on tomorrow as well, because we'll be right back here at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time at our regularly scheduled time with this panel and a few others that may be popping on as well. Tomorrow, I will provide the link for you to pop on if you want to come directly on and ask our panelists a question directly as one of the viewers on the show. Okay, so that'll happen tomorrow as well. Courtney Jacobs, my brother, he says the best and the worst. So we are left to figure out which way to go.
We don't know which way not to go. If we continue with this extremism, if we continue perpetuating these lies, I have a mother of 4. My oldest child is 23. My youngest is 8. And we have sat back today watching what was happening in this country. I used to work for a senator. I know for a fact, without a doubt, nobody gets on the Capitol steps without the permission of the police. Nobody gets on the floor of
without
the
them letting
United
you.
States Senate. So when I look at how this happened, I don't care what anybody says. You cannot convince me that this was not orchestrated. You cannot convince me that the Capitol Police Board was in on this, because they should have been there.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. I saw a picture earlier about when there was the Black Lives Matter protest, and there were police lined in military gear, armed, ready to the hilt, making sure that nobody got in those doors. But all of a sudden today, people just walked in like they were on a 12th grade, field trip.
Man, there's more law enforcement at a rap concert.
Exactly. And then walked out in the same manner, like nothing was going on.
Walked out.
It just looked so contrived, and so I was so frustrated and watching, people bang in the glass and just go in and just sitting on the Senate floor and sitting at the
Nancy Pelosi's desk,
the Senate's desk, and then go to Pelosi's office and got the feet propped up and those things. I was like, yeah, there's something else going on here.
Yeah, right? Yeah. And the president was in the White House when it was happening.
Right. So Sean, you were right on point with that. It was definitely contrived. There was something else going on under the table that, of course, we don't know, right? But I'm a big conspiracy theorist anyway.
But you know what? It wasn't even subliminal. He had just
right along with you, Sean.
A rally. He just done a rally and asked them to walk down to the White House, and we need strength, right? Yeah. So they went down in this strong way, and they pulled the fence down, and everybody act like they didn't realize why they were pulling the fence down. Yeah. And they went in.
Let me say this too, because some people don't know this. If you've not worked on the Hill, you wouldn't know that all of those houses are linked together. And this is not a secret. I'm not spilling national secrets, y'all. But under there is a subway. And so when this popped off, I was listening to Cori Bush, representative out of Missouri, and she said she had a feeling that she should just get herself out of there. And she said by the time she got back to her office, they had already breached the chambers. And I thought about this because I've been back and forth. There are tunnels and there are subways that you can walk under the Capitol building. Right. You walk to the Durkinson, you walk to Hart. And so when I thought about all of this going on, I said, they wanted you to know the powers that be. This is the message for Harris. This is the message for Biden. They know where you live. They know where you are. They know how to get to you. So to me, some Capitol Police need to be fired because they don't have the best interest of these lawmakers at heart. They do not. And they're telling you that. And I hope to God I'm wrong, but I know that I'm not. They need to clean house, make sure that they get people who are loyal to the Constitution, not loyal to a party, because people come and go. But this establishment called democracy, it should be able to stand. And we witnessed today a coup in the making.
Right.
Yeah, well, I have a friend who's on the Capitol, and he let us know yesterday that, hey, some things are going to pop off today. And we didn't know it was going to be like this. But he's like, hey, it's going to be crazy tomorrow. And, you know, those types of things, you know, that you find out. I had no idea we were going to see what we saw today. I mean, it was the most embarrassing thing as a 9-year Air Force veteran that I had ever seen in my life. I'm thinking we have a force that's designed 100% to ensure that those 100 senators, 100 plus senators, right? And those Congress men and women are protected at all times. That can't happen in any way, shape, or form.
Doesn't matter what the race.
Doesn't matter what happens.
Well, it does matter the race because the way they did.
Yeah, it was
pretty. Black folks,
but it brought an anger up out of me. I don't know about you all, but it brought up an anger out of me that I hadn't experienced in a long time. I was just so.
Yes. Let me say this right quick. When I say it doesn't matter what the race, the race always matters, and depending upon how people get handled based on whatever the race is. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is no matter what the race of the people that are the perpetrators should not have been able to access. Exactly. That's what I mean. I'm not saying that the race doesn't matter.
You're right.
But we saw it in Oregon.
Let me take you back off what you guys were saying as far as Sean. Sean, you were saying that you felt a lot of anger. Actually, I was kind of delayed on seeing what was happening because I was out working and doing different things earlier today. So when I actually caught the glimpse of what was happening on CNN, it made me anxious, like off of a 30-second clip. So it's like it's creating anxiety, and I can imagine like all the elders that's out glued to the TV right now, what they're feeling, stuck at home with nobody to really explain it to them. So, I just wanted everybody to kind of address that, as well as the, besides just the anger, the anxiety, what are other sentiments that's out there that people are feeling right now in response to this?
I will tell you,
we walk around with PTSD. It's what we do. As Black people, we walk around with PTSD every single day.
PTSD, cultural
PTSD.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we walk around as chameleons. We have to assimilate into everything that we do. Where we go to church, if we go to a mixed church, we can't be 100% ourselves when we go to that church. And I go to a predominantly white church, right? It's mixed culture. We got, I think, 53 different cultures in our church, but the vast majority is white. But I'll probably say maybe 50% white and then 50% everything else. But I can't be myself when I'm around my African American Black friends around the street, right? I'm always someone different. I'm different at work. I'm different in the street. I'm different when I'm going to my kids' events at school. I'm different everywhere I go.
You gotta be.
Let's answer some more studio audience questions right quick.
Okay.
Jackie King Spencer says, for the past 4 years since day one, he never knew how to articulate the job of being president of the United States of America. Obama was in purpose. Through God, a Black man could be president of the greatest country.
I want to address that too, because here's the thing. So many people, and it annoys the whole fool out of me when they sit here and talk about what all President Obama didn't do. When you are great, when you are a leader, you don't have to tell every single thing that you do, because your record will speak for you.
Right.
And so there's so many things that President Obama tried to put forth, but let's have our history lesson. You have to first have it go through the House, and then when it passes the House, it goes to the Senate. If the Senate agrees, then they have a little committee. When it comes out of the committee, they present the bill to the president, and the bill becomes a law. We have had gatekeepers in place. Mitch McConnell has been a gatekeeper. There's been so much that has not been allowed to even make it to the Senate floor. I think there are 275 bills sitting on his desk right now. And so when I look at it, this particular president never came in trying to be the president. Peep game, y'all. He was going to be who he was, an opportunist. And this presidency has always been about an opportunity for him and his family to be grossly enriched off of the backs of Americans. So what I hope happens from today, because I wasn't dismayed, I wasn't angry, I had a mindset of let's go. Keep organizing, keep
Yeah.
strategizing, keep making sure that you keep 2 steps ahead and we don't get sucked into this. Because if we don't shore up the laws and the ambiguities that lie in different legislatures throughout the country, that lie within our own code, the United States Code, someone worse than Trump and more educated and more organized will be back.
Yeah, thank goodness he wasn't good at what he does, because we'd be in trouble.
Sorry, Joseph. Yeah, that's one of the things we talk about today, is that the work actually begins now, right? We have what we've been asking for, but now we have to make sure that they're held accountable, right? So we have to keep the pressure on those that are now in power, that we took the time to galvanize and put in place, right? All the things that we want, all the things that we need in terms of our community infrastructure, in terms of our education, in terms of healthcare, all the things that we've been fighting for all this time. We need to make sure that we're now making sure that our foot is on their throat and that they do what they're supposed to do. Because at the end of the day, if we went through all of this and we get nothing out of it, really the other side is right. Oh, they're just pandering for your vote. No. At this point now, we have an opportunity to change the course of complete history for all mankind, not just for Black America, not just for Latinos, not just for LGBTQ, whatever. We are able now to look at this nation and say, okay, we've got more women in office than ever before. We have more African Americans or Blacks in office than ever before. We just put the first Black senator in in Georgia in the Senate. So we have all of this now where it's the perfect timing to put this nation on the trajectory that I think all of us have wanted to see for the last 200-300 years, right?
Absolutely.
It's important for us to get this moment right, because for the first time in history, a majority of the country's heart is in the right place.
That's right.
That's why after what happened to George Floyd is largely what happened to Rodney King, but we weren't there with Rodney King yet.
Right.
Yeah.
What happened with George Floyd, instinctively, young people, especially of every race, went to the streets. So now it's important for us to get this moment right, to give those young people education and perspective, because their hearts are in the right place. But too many Black people don't know history and don't know current events either.
Wow. Okay, let's go to another studio audience comment too, right quick. One says, Allison says, Black folks marched because we were getting killed. Today they riot because they didn't get their way. We are not the same. This is an orchestrated and planned event. Lack of law enforcement. Did they think they were scaling the immigration wall? Or how did they get through the layout of the Capitol to the key offices that they plopped into with disrespect?
I have an answer, Allison.
They had a guided tour.
They knew this president has laid the groundwork for months and months. As soon as January 20th at 12:01 happens, he should be arrested on site for inciting a riot.
Absolutely.
He should be arrested if he ever lands in Georgia again, because he broke the law. We have him on tape. But what has happened so many times is that we've ignored the president. This has been brewing. He's told people January 6th is going to be wild. He planned for it to be that way, and everyone was standing down. Even Secret Service, they were told to stand down and to let this melee play out for the American public. But what happened, it has backfired. I have friends who live across the world. My aunts are from Antigua in the British West Indies. I have friends who live in Dubai. We looked a whole fool collectively. And what we have to be remembering is this: the work continues. We come in 2022, we've got another election. You can't get ready for Congress and the representatives in 2021. Well, we're already in 2021. You can't get ready in 2022. The work starts now, because we don't need to lose any ground. We can't afford to lose the House. We can't. The Senate is safe for another 6 years, but the House, we got to keep this thing going, which means we got to keep organizing, and we need to keep getting people in the pipeline to understand how government works.
And remember, it's local as well. And I think one of the things that a lot of us don't pay attention to is that the local laws in your town, your county, your city is just as important as the state legislature, which is just important as what's going on in the national.
Right.
And we have to come together and make sure that we're doing we're exerting the same level of energy, right? And I think this was the first election that I saw the same level of energy as we saw in 08, as well as in 12. I don't think we saw as much energy in 12 because I think everybody thought it was in the bag. But I saw a lot of energy, and I saw a lot of energy in 2020. I didn't see any energy in 2016 whatsoever. And that was the difference, right? When we show up, when we galvanize, when we organize, when we do the groundwork. I saw more people in my town, and I mean white people, Black people, Latino people, everybody knocking on doors, curing votes, just the stuff that I never really thought about in 08. I never thought about curing a vote ever. I never even knew what curing a vote was in 08. I really didn't. I'm ashamed to admit it, but it's the truth. But because of the way the election evolved, I learned so much during this particular election because
we all did.
This president. This president made you learn more about the process.
No doubt about it.
Because it was
very politically aware.
It made you go to the polls too.
Oh, also just some more breaking news, just so people are aware. Facebook is also banning President Trump for about 24 hours, is what I'm hearing.
The White House need to ban it.
So let me interject real quick. We're talking heavy with the political game here, and I was out earlier when we was discussing the game plan for tonight, and me riding home, I've seen so many officers out. I mean, I'm located here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I've seen so many officers posted like they are anticipating so much to happen in response to this. So it's just like like on a common ground. Where do we go from here? The electoral groups, they're great. Everything is, we're making great strides. But on the common ground, where do we go from here? Like, do we acquire more land? Do we open up more businesses? Do we form our own, well, not own, but more political parties or lobbyist parties that can be more effective in 2022 and moving forward? Where do we go from here on a common ground? And that's what I want to bring to the table.
And Jay, just so everyone knows, he does our Redemption of the Black Man. He does the Redemption of the Black Man show here on the Kim Jacobs Show. So usually he's brought in police officers throughout the year. He's brought in African Americans, NFL players, political advocates. You name it, he's brought them in. Actually, he's going to be bringing in Where Will We Be Without Our Women, our African-American women. And there's going to be a panel discussion with that on, is it January 12th, right?
Yeah, Tuesday, the 12th at 11 a.m. Please tune in. Yeah. And when you're there, like and subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show. Absolutely. Yeah. And don't forget to share as well.
Discussion. That's going to be a great discussion right there, too. Where do we go with our African American women? Where would we be?
I think it's going to be the best one yet.
We wouldn't be. We wouldn't be at all.
The best one yet.
We wouldn't be. Can I add something to what Sean said and what John said there about kind of where do we go? Right. I think if you take a look at right now, we have everyone's attention. I think we talked about whether the $250,000, $1 million, $1 billion. I think Bank of America put in. So there's a lot of money that's been thrown out there. There are certain companies that are restructuring their corporate boards, right? So all of these things are starting to happen. It's going to take time. But while we have their attention, along with what we've seen with this election, this runoff election, as well as the presidential election, they realize that now, wow, we've awakened a sleeping bear, right? And that African Americans are awake. Black people are now awake, to the point where if we come together and we do everything that we're supposed to do, and we really unify, right? I mean, boycott where necessary. The NFL would have had Colin Kaepernick back in the NFL a long time ago, had the 80% of all the NFL, which is black, had sat down one Sunday, it would have been knocked out. He would have been playing in the league 6 years ago.
Right.
So I look at all those things that I think that, and Sean, I don't know how you feel about it, but if we do the things that we are capable of doing the way it used to be, right? I remember my dad telling me about the way it used to be in our old neighborhood, right? That was actually taken from us because of eminent domain in Yorktown, Virginia. I can go on a whole nother story about that. But what I'm saying is that we now have the attention of not only America, but also of the world. You have to understand that over 50,000 people in Austria were also marching with the George Floyd situation as well. So, I mean, 18 different countries, if I remember the number correctly, were marching as well as us. So the world is on notice. This country is on notice. White America is on notice. But are we on notice? Do we realize our power? And I think if we do, and if we utilize what we've learned in the last 12 months, that we can turn the corner and really make some significant changes for this nation, but also for ourselves as a people. And then just overall, you know, I just sit back and I think of what can be done if we continue and make this a movement and not a moment, right? That's the important thing.
I love that. Let me stop you all for a minute because there's so many comments, there's so many questions that are coming in. And what we're going to do is, again, this was just to come on briefly for breaking news, just to let you know that we are not silent. We're not sitting silent and just letting this day happen and saying nothing. Mute your mics, everyone, for me, if you don't mind, but not letting this day just go by without chiming in to let you all know that the Kim Jacobs Show, we hear you, we know that you have some feelings about what's happening, and we wanted to give you that opportunity to express some of those views and opinions. And so tomorrow we're going to reconvene at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our regularly scheduled program for tomorrow will not take place. We're going to have this be our discussion, and I've already talked to my guest that was scheduled for tomorrow, and she's wonderful, and she's already agreed to allow this to be the discussion for tomorrow. So all of the comments that are here, and thank you so much to Lotus Richey. For those of you that don't follow Lotus Richey right now, make sure you go over to Lotus Richey, Lotus Ignites, and she has a YouTube channel, and she also has all kind of graphic design work that she does, and she spreads positive news and latest trending news as well on her station. So make sure you follow her. And she actually did a shout out on her show about tonight's breaking news episode as well. So thank you so much, Lotus. But listen, everyone that's on that have all of your questions, come back tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The same panel will be in place, and you all will, right? Nobody's chiming out. Yes, just a thumbs up at least, right? Okay. So everybody will be in place tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. for us to continue with this discussion. It's more breaking news throughout tonight, obviously, and everything that's still been going on. But we're going to continue our discussion. Andrew, I see your question. Allison, all of you all that have questions, we're going to capture these, and we'll have all of the answers for you tomorrow. Thank you so much for tagging people. And make sure you subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do that. Turn on your notification bell. And then when we go live at 11 o'clock a.m. tomorrow, Eastern Standard Time, you'll get that notification and you'll be right in the studio audience. Okay. Any questions? Or it's like all kinds of stuff. You know, people are saying the Capitol.
I want to share for sure.
Yes. Each of you will get to share a final thought as well. But all of you that are on, know that your questions will be answered in great detail tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. We're going to cut and paste these and get your answers answered. Okay. Okay, Sean, go ahead and share your closing comments.
Javon said something profound, and he asked, where do we go from here? And where I think we should go is not ask. We are on a show created by a Black woman. Not that she has corporate backing. This is something that was in her mind and in her heart to do, to have a voice and give others a voice. We don't have to ask. Go and do what's in your hand to do. Go and create. Continue to make opportunities for other people. That's what we all should be moving towards, because if Kim had not created this opportunity through this show, none of us would have a voice. So we don't need to ask somebody to give us a voice. You have a voice, use it.
Wow. That's very profound. Okay, very profound closing comments. Go ahead, Joseph.
I would say, somebody asked me a while back, they were referring to music. Person was asking me what my advice was to go to the next level. And I said, my advice would be to do all that you can do at this level.
Yeah.
And yeah, learn your history, know your current events, and then reach out to people, especially people, reach out to people, but not just people who think like you. Because if we want to bridge division, but the only people we talk to are people that think like us, then we're part of the problem that we complain about. So I would say, learn your history, learn your current events, reach out to people, and do all that you can in your immediate vicinity. And when you do that, what to do next will be apparent.
Wow. Okay. And before I go to the next person, I do want to put this comment up too. Black men have to put their egos aside and let the Black women take the stage. That can make the biggest difference for us. They don't want to give Black men the respect and keep pushing them hard not to succeed. Though they label us as angry, they fear us because they know we can galvanize and bring people and votes together. Black women are the security blanket of the Democratic Party. Support us Black men because we will take care of you, because we don't want to see our sons, our brothers, and ... That's wow.
That's a mouthful.
That's a lot right there. That says a whole lot, Allison Skeet. And I hope that you'll be in the studio audience tomorrow, because that probably will help prompt a lot of the kickoff discussion for tomorrow's show. So hopefully you'll be right in that studio audience. Thank you so much, Robert, Andrew, and great show. Thank you so much. It's a lot of comments. I wish that I could get to all of them right now, but tomorrow, that's why we're doing a two-part thing here. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock, we're going to definitely get to your comments. None of them were going to be overlooked, the ones that are on tonight. Okay, let's take you, Sean, if you would like to go ahead and say your closing comments.
Yeah, I just want to say I learned a lot over the course of the last year. And the one thing I did learn was that you don't have to boil the ocean. All you have to do is get involved in your area, right? Your town, your local community, and do your part right there. And I think if we see that catch fire across the entire nation, we will make a difference across the entire world, right? But it starts with you in your local community. And when that happens, good things and great things begin to happen as well. And so, I just admonish everybody to go out there and just do your part in your town. That's all you can do. Don't try to be, Malcolm X. just be Sean Braxton, right? Or the Sean Hall, right? I'm gonna change my name. I'll put a D in front of mine too. I like that.
Don't try to be like me.
I like you though.
I like you too, Sean.
I think we lost.
Your mic is muted. Javon, if you want to speak up and have some final words, your mic is muted.
Oh, I was out behind backstage. I was like, nobody's responded to me. Y'all laughing like y'all.
Yeah, they over here with the Sean and Sean connection.
I was like, but I'm like, where am I? I felt like I was having an out of body experience just now. I was like, why do I only see four? I have a transition. What's going on, guys?
The raptor came and nobody.
I was like, don't leave me behind. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Javon.
Okay. Well, just a great closeout point that I want to make. Like I like always keep it back on the common ground. And one thing that I want to illustrate here, we all have a great network expanding across the United States. I at least give every guest that every friend that I know, we have a great network across the United States. So when Sean was talking about, investing in your local community and doing what you can within your reach, as well as voting and making sure that you vote locally, because we tend to overlook that. We always get caught up in the bigger election. So make sure that you're focusing on your local community as far as the voting go, and make sure that when I say the network, that when you have something successful in an area, if we find something that's successful in Charlotte, then we should be able to send that out to Minneapolis. We should be able to send that out to Los Angeles, Texas, wherever the network extends to, so that they can replicate that, so that, and vice versa, so that we can replicate the successes across the nation.
Right.
And we can get some type of standard or some type of code moving forward. So, I just wanted to kind of put that out there and contribute that to the conversation. Y'all have all made some great points tonight. and I'm glad I was part of the panel.
Wow. And we hope that you'll be able to come back tomorrow, Javon, and be a part of the panel as well as each of you that have been here on this evening. This was supposed to be popping on for about 10 minutes, just doing some breaking news to tell you guys that we are empathetic, understanding. We are here because the show is all about being real, relevant, and relatable. That's what the Kim Jacobs Show is here, how we're balancing different things in our lives, what piece of that puzzle that we might be missing, that someone that comes onto the Kim Jacobs Show can provide that piece of the puzzle to you. This piece of the puzzle is throwing everything off for everyone. So it makes all of us be out of balance, out of sync, because it makes you have a certain level of animosity and you got a side eye going. It's all kind of hatred and all kinds of things that it stirs up from a balance perspective when things like this happen in our nation. So we need to come up with some solutions. Hopefully tomorrow you'll join us again here on the Kim Jacobs Show at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're going to be here on tomorrow, please type I'm in, I'll be here. Okay, who's saying they'll be here? Bunny, yes, please be here tomorrow, Bunny. Thank you so much. Who said they'll be here? I'm in. Great show. Thank you, Yuki. Thank you so much for being here. Courtney, awesome panel and show. Please be here tomorrow on the Kim Jacobs Show. I appreciate it. And I heard that you, Allison, you will be in the house as well. Lotus Rashay said that the come up is in the show up. So she's going to show up. And any of you that don't, even if you're at your job and you can do a quick, break, 15-minute, 30-minute break, 1 hour lunch break, whatever you have, join in tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for
Kim, one breaking news point that I have to say to all of those people that's going to make sure that they're there tomorrow. Make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you like the Kim Jacobs Show, hit the notification bell. Make sure that you can get the alerts when she go on live every day at 11 o'clock. Make sure you share it also as well tomorrow, and invite some more friends out tomorrow so we can finish this discussion up.
And tomorrow we will be putting the link up as well. So tomorrow we will put that link up, and it's the link that you can be brought right into the discussion yourself. So if you want to be a part of saying, hey, you know what, I have some opposing views, and it's the link that, go ahead.
Now, I'm just going to say, now, when y'all come in here tomorrow with the link, this is my friend in real life. So come respectful, come with your comments. But if you come with foolery, you will be shut out. Now, that's for real.
Oh, you're going to have the same experience that I had. Here's what it looked like. Okay, you see everybody here right now, right? And all I got
I see.
that quick, just like that, you're gone, right? So let's respect.
In other words, don't come for them. Don't come for them.
You got to be in the front of her name now. You got it. It's yours.
So anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of the breaking news edition of the Kim Jacobs Show. We'll see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys stay there for a minute so we can have a brief discussion backstage. And again, thank you all for tuning in today. Let me see. I'll take us out.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Take care, everyone. And stay safe out there.
Yes, please just stay in tonight. Okay.